Gender inclusion has probably increased in the region, but surely not at the pace it should have. What should be the first step to take to solve that problem?
Good morning. Well, first of all, recognize that there is a problem. I think that's the biggest issue that we have. For many people in the region, women participate and there is not really a recognition that there is an issue. However, when you look at the figures, it's very easy to realize that even though in Latin America women participate, women do not participate at the same level, particularly on decision-making positions at the government, at the private sector, board levels. And that represents a problem because we're missing out. We're missing out on the potential of women in the region in order to include them in development.
The number of women on Latin American boards of directors is very small. What is the strategy to place women on boards? Is lack of relevant experience the main obstacle?
It is important to mention that the lack of women representation or enough representation at boards is not only an issue in the region, it's an issue globally. Some other countries have begun addressing the issue by setting quotas. I did not believe in quotas before. I am convinced nowadays that's the only way it's going to happen faster. When you look at the information, you will realize that women have the capacity, have the training, have the experience, but they're not getting into the boards. I think the response is definitely not lack of experience. It responds to other issues, history, culture, and many more. How to address it? In Panama, we have set up a new legislation ensuring a minimum of 30% participation of women at boards of directors of government companies and regulated companies. This includes the banking sector, the insurance sector, the trading sector. I do believe that this legislation will be very positive in moving forward women participation at the board level, and it will be followed by other enterprises from non-regulated sectors.
There is ample evidence that diversity, including gender of diversity, has a positive impact on corporate growth and profitability. Why it has not been embraced more by Latin American firms?
I think because it's not understood enough, it's not known enough. But as you have mentioned in the question, there is enough evidence that when you bring diversity into decision-making processes, you will reach decisions that are more geared towards what the market is expecting, that are more understanding of what society is looking for. Therefore, it is positive for the companies, it is positive for society, it is positive for families. I do believe that while it's still not enough, the representation, the more the companies do it, the more they will realize that it is a way to go in every way.
Global studies show that the feminine contribution to corporate governance comes from their superior capacity to listen, build consensus, and be empathetic. Is there any other feminine characteristic that should be added to the list of impacts to firms in Latin America?
I am certain that the positive sides are not limited to those that you have mentioned, even though those are relevant. It is true that women, perhaps as a result of maternity and our role in society in general, we do tend to listen, and that is very important. But I wouldn't say that's the main reason. I would say diversity, once again. You just cannot, as we continue to make decisions without incorporating the decision-making processes, different ideas, we're just missing out. And looking at just what the market wants. Who makes the purchasing power decisions at a home? Most of the purchasing power decisions at a home, women do. Usually women are closer to the needs of children, to the needs of the home, to the needs of the family. And they are very, very active in the decision-making process in order to decide every major purchasing decision. So who's missing out if women are not participating on decisions? I think companies are. I think the economy is. I think societies are. Other things that we're missing out, well, women are prepared. Women have been graduating. In Panama, more women graduate from universities than men. This is a reality in other countries as well. So when you have that capacity being left out, countries are missing out. It's like trying to reach development with counting with half of the population and leaving half of the population out or not participating enough. That just drags us and prevents us from moving faster towards development, moving faster towards the 2030 agenda and the rest of the development objectives that we have agreed upon.